Hi, my name is Damien. I am responsible for ATP product marketing here at Fortinet. And I'd like to discuss today how you may secure your digital transformation initiatives within your organization against advanced threats. Before we start, I want to talk about the threat landscape. In Q1 of 2018, FortiGuard Labs has observed an increase in 27% of unique malware targeting organizations. With that, we've also seen an increase, a 35 times growth, if you will, on ransomware, and a double-digit growth in this new global phenomenon known as cryptojacking. With that in mind, let me go ahead and talk a little bit more about the bad actors as well as these threats. So why are these attacks so successful? It's because the bad actors are not only persistent, but they always consistently find different ways into your organizations. And they have a large set of different tools, if you will, to do that. So the bad actors may use things like exploits to deliver the malware into an organization, evading traditional controls, or use malware, right? Different types of malware, as well as ransomware, which is also another type of malware to really ransom the organization to release that data. So these are the different tools at disposal for these threat actors. And according to Verizon's data breach investigation report in 2018, there are the three most common threat vectors are web, endpoint, as well as email. Now, from the web perspective, you have things like malvertisements. You also have maybe malicious content hosted on the website that can deliver these types of malware, if you will, or hosting files, if you will, on these websites. And typically, that can be protected with inline security controls like your WAF, your next generation firewall, or your endpoint protection platform. The other thing is malware can also live in your USB drives, right? So anything that is USB operated, attackers may be able to install malware, and inadvertently you might insert that into your device, like your laptop, and then you may be infected. So in that particular instance, the endpoint protection platform can protect against those types of attacks. Lastly, we have email. So these are like spear phishing attacks, if you will, targeting an organization. Now for corporate emails, right, you have your secure email gateway to protect against those types of threats. But what about personal emails coming through web-based types of emails? So that is where your endpoint protection platform is able to protect against those types of threats. Now that's great that you may have the best of breed inline security controls protecting against all these different delivery mechanisms into your organization. But it only takes 1 day, if you will, to bypass any of these inline security controls to then create a data breach within your organization. And compounding this problem is the use of AI. Now, artificial intelligence use case right here is the ability to morph these types of malware, right, at machine speeds to evade the protections you have in place already, right? And then not only that, you also have Malware-as-a-Service, which is basically a portal that attackers can use to quickly package a threat campaign within a few clicks, picking out their choice of malware, exploit, spam, and also botnets, right, to distribute the malware into the organization. So from the organization's perspective, how do you deal with these unknown threats coming into your campus, if you will? So you can deploy advanced threat protection technologies like Sandbox. Now the role of Sandbox is really to help detect and understand the characteristics of the object and then determine if that is malicious. And so from the perspective of the different inline security controls, the WAF, the next generation firewall, the endpoint protection, as well as the secure email gateway can send these objects to FortiSandbox for that further validation. And Sandbox also works with not only natively with the different products within the Fortinet portfolio, but it also works with third-party vendors through the API. And once Sandbox determines that this particular object is malicious, it will then share that intelligence with not only the submitting device, if you will, but across all the different inline security controls so that the mitigations are applied automatically against this particularly new unknown threat. And as you see, more and more organizations are embracing digital transformation initiatives like moving their applications and services into the cloud. So it's also very important not only to protect your assets in the campus, but also your assets in the cloud. Now, FortiSandbox offers not only an on-prem solution to protect your campus, but also within the cloud as well, such as AWS. With the FortiSandbox, it also expands that threat intelligence by sharing that with our FortiGuard labs, where they do threat research, understanding, and attributing those threat campaigns to the attacks that we've seen, as well as the generation of protections to protect the larger organization. So to conclude, the Fabric-enabled ATP solution covers a broad digital attack surface, as well as integrates prevention of known and unknown threats, not just the detection. And last but not least, which is most important in my opinion, is the ability to automate the threat mitigations so you don't have to rely on the scarce InfoSec resources in your organization. So for more information, I would like to encourage you to visit fortinet.com/sandbox. Thank you.